Next Thursday, an award-winning and moving story of a world too painfully real to ignore. The story of a girl on the road.
Moi-même, je sais peu de choses d'elle. Mais il me semble qu'elle venait de la mer.
Of the people who helped her.
Toi, c'est la liberté totale. Tu choisis, mais tu as la solitude totale. Il vient un moment où, si on continue, je pense qu'on se détruit.
And those that took advantage. A story stripped of sentiment. Vagabond next Thursday at 9 on 4.
In 10 minutes, a second chance to see Soldier Girls, a fascinating documentary film following the training of women soldiers who, as good as have to hang up their very souls for the benefit of Uncle Sam.
Hello, it's me again, and I've been nabbed by some rather clever chaps from Electrolux to tell you about this little shelf. It slots straight in to the Electrolux meal maker and gives you, my dear gastronauts, a microwave that cooks an entire meal in one go. So, that should be ready in about... Ah, well, there was only time for a little slurp anyway.
For pensions, turn to Norwich Union. Talk to an independent financial advisor. For pensions, you're better off the Norwich way.
The next 30 minutes of music are brought to you by U.S. Cotton, who'd like to remind you that...
Well,
I know.
At Pizzaland, we're forever creating delicious ways to enjoy pizza. But we had no idea people would feel so strongly about our very special pizzas. In particular, Castaway, a delectable combination of peaches, ham, and asparagus, which has created such a stir. We've been asked to add something extra. Pizzaland, we've got a passion for pizza.
Drives a new Audi 80 because it's one of the few cars in the world made from fully galvanized steel. So, if Carl Skipper should get a little careless, rust won't be Carl's problem. Getting his guest home again could be. Vorsprung durch Technik.
It's not easy being a dolphin.
It's those 2 scoops in every Kellogg's pack. 2 scoops keeps them coming back for those 2 scoops of juicy sultanas in Kellogg's Sultana brand.
This red house gives you a mortgage from Torquay to Timbuktu. This red house insures your contents from concrete to bamboo. So don't freeze off your assets or let your cash vamoose. The Net Pro gives you sky-high interest, makes your money reproduce. For mortgages, insurance, or money in your trousers, join the national and provincial, and you're safe as little red houses.
Ah, dear gastronauts, witness this tragic waste of good red wine. But fortunately, those clever chaps from Electrolux have come up with a washer-dryer, which not only washes and dries the imperial robes in one go, it also gets rid of the hot air down the drain, instead of through a whacking great hole in the wall. Brilliant, isn't it? So the only thing that's hot and steamy in this commercial is me.
Hitchcock.
I know why you came in.
Spellbound.
Why?
I know what's behind that door. Murder.
No.
Something's happening.
What is it?
Is that you, Mr. Brown?
Think. You can't put him away. You can't. It destroys mine. Don't you understand?
The master of suspense is back. Hitchcock's Spellbound. Sunday, 10:15, Channel 4.
You're watching Channel 4. There now follows a party election broadcast by the Labour Party.
I was taken up to the Labour ward because Christopher's heartbeat was dipping very badly. I think it was about 2 o'clock that morning. The doctor came in to us and announced, fairly sort of briefly really, that if Christopher was born in that particular hospital that night, he would die. We were quite stunned at this. The reason was that there was no incubator available for him. He then went on to inform us that he tried every single hospital in the London area, the Greater London area and the vicinity of London, and there was no incubator available in any hospital whatsoever in that area. And he was phoning as far up as Scotland and down to Land's End to try and find somewhere.
It's really unbelievable in this day and age that this sort of situation is happening. We just couldn't believe it. At the time, you know, the shock came during that night. It took quite some time to register what we were being faced with. That it was literally a life and death situation for lack of basic facilities.
Well, it's what's called Dupuytren's contracture. It might be easier to say Thatcher contracture because this is the operation that she had done on her hand. You can see where the hardening is there. But this is how it comes out after a few years. It's very awkward when you're lifting anything heavy or, you know, perhaps in the steering wheel in the car. Well, I've been on the waiting list of the London Hospital now for 5 years. And twice they've asked me, did I want to remain on the list? Once I got the chance of a bed, and when I telephoned to confirm it, it had already gone.
So at the moment I'm working on a children's ward, and the children's ward is closed at the weekend for a Saturday night, and sometimes this period's extended if the number of children in the ward is reduced. And therefore you end up with children being moved onto adult wards, and I don't think this is a satisfactory situation.
There's now less ambulances to do emergency work, there's less ambulances to do outpatients. The ambulance service itself has been drastically cut. When you're talking of minutes, a patient that's seriously ill, if it just takes a matter of 3 or 4 minutes longer to get that patient to hospital, that can make all the difference between that patient either dying or making a full recovery.
So the early discharge from hospital may seem attractive to the government in terms of saving money in the hospital budget, but it's producing tremendous stress on the community care. It's putting tremendous stress on health workers, but most of all, it's producing stress on the patients themselves and relatives. Most of them are having to do the caring themselves because there aren't enough health workers to help them.
How can Mrs. Thatcher say the health service is safe in her hands when she won't put herself in the hands of the health service? But we all know someone who has suffered, and our conscience tells us it is wrong. Labour can put the heart back into the health service.
My mother, who's a professional nurse for 40 years nearly, would share the views of so many other nurses and doctors and paramedical workers and ancillary workers in the health service that I meet all over the country. They know what they could do. They know what they'd like to do. They know what they're able to do given the chance. But so frequently they feel they're just not given the chance, given the resources, given the time to make their healing system work to its full ability.
A Labour government will give them that chance. It will employ more staff and give hospitals the resources they need to cut waiting lists. It will set up a national network of breast and cervical cancer screening and well-woman clinics. And it will provide more local health centres and reduce GPs' lists. 40 years ago, a Labour government created the National Health Service against the wishes of the Conservatives. Today, Labour can rebuild the NHS, offering care to all who need it.
That was a party election broadcast by the Labour Party. On for now, a regime of training that is unpleasant and at times brutal, in a documentary film giving insight into the lives of soldier girls.